A Fox News alert. We are told at least 6 Iranian fighters are dead after the U.S. strikes 2 targets in eastern Syria overnight. One was a training site that doubled as a logistics and weapons storage facility. The other, a safe house. You're watching Fox and Friends First here on a Monday morning. I'm Todd Pyro.
And I'm Carly Shimkus. These precision airstrikes were in retaliation for the 48 attacks on our troops in Iraq and Syria since October 17th. And our defense secretary says more could come if the violence doesn't stop.
We're also seeing new video of the moment Israel's Arrow interceptor successfully shot down a rocket launched from Iranian-backed fighters in Yemen on October 31st. Just look at that video. And it is still a very active war scene over in Gaza and Israel today.
That's right. Trey Yanks is reporting live on the ground in southern Israel for us this morning. Hi, Trey.
Hey, Todd, Carly, good morning. It is day 38 of the war between Israel and Hamas. Overnight, the Israelis ramped up their airstrikes against the northern and central part of Gaza. Into today, they're still striking the northern part of the Strip. You can see here, as my cameraman pushes in, some of that black smoke rising from the Gaza skyline. The Israelis working to support those infantry troops that are pushing deeper into Gaza. The Palestinians reported those new airstrikes in the second largest city of Khan Yunis overnight. On the ground, we do understand that the Israelis have the Al-Shifa hospital surrounded. They say they are still trying to get people to evacuate from the eastern side of that hospital. But it comes as they are trying to take more territory across Gaza. The Israelis say they now control the Gaza port with the help of their Navy. And the death toll among Israeli forces rising to 44 soldiers since the ground operation began. I do want to draw your attention, though, to northern Israel along the border with Lebanon, where fighting is intensifying. The Lebanese militant group Hezbollah getting more directly involved in this fight. They are trying to see just how far they can go, pushing their luck with the Israelis, according to officials that we've talked to, because they are using anti-tank guided missiles. They are also trying to fire mortars into northern Israel. And this has led to more than 24 injuries over the past 2 days between the soldiers and the civilians in the northern part of Israel. A very active scene on the southern front and on the northern front as the fighting continues between Israel and Hamas and Israel and Hezbollah. Todd, Carly.
Trey Yanks live for us this morning. Trey, thank you for starting us off. Let's bring in Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman. Dan, the breaking news, that strike from the good guys against the bad guys, the United States troops against Iran proxies. Is this strike going to be the one that finally deters Iran? Or, Dan, is it too little too late still?
Well, I think that's certainly a question that President Biden's national security advisors will be asking the intelligence community and our Department of Defense. I think the Biden administration's been very careful about walking up that escalation ladder step by step. And these latest strikes, which reportedly killed, as you said, 6 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps militants. So not Guard Corps themselves, but proxy militants associated with them. That's another step. I don't think it will be enough to deter Iran. I think Iran sees great value in stretching U.S. forces. Look, we've deployed 2 carrier groups, Patriot missiles and aircraft to the region, and that's exactly what Iran wants, as well as their allies, Russia and China.
Yeah, and over the weekend, Dan, Iran's president visited Saudi Arabia for the first time in over a decade for this summit where Arab and Muslim leaders openly condemned Israel's war in the Gaza Strip. What do you think about that? And also at this summit, there was open criticism for Arab nations to have normalized relations with Israel. So is there any hope left that Saudi Arabia will one day normalize relations with Israel?
Well, I think there's 2 wars going on simultaneously. One is the kinetic war you've been reporting on so well, and including Trey this morning from Gaza. The other one is the information war, and we're not winning that one. Hamas is deliberately using their brethren as human shields to create a humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip. And Iran knows that they can drive a wedge between pro-Palestinian populations in Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and the rulers of those nations. And Iran, as you rightly point out, particularly focused on Saudi Arabia. They want to ensure that there is no reconciliation between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And this is their opportunity to try to pressure the government of Saudi Arabia to hold off on what would have been a great diplomatic achievement on top of the Abraham Accords.
Focusing on the kinetic for a moment, these were precision strikes. And that makes me beg the question, look, we got some of the best surveillance technology in the world, if not the best. We have individuals like yourself, the highest level of our intel apparatus that knows where the bad guys are. I keep using that phrase, bad guys. So why don't we do more of these surgical strikes? They basically keep our men and women out of combat, but accomplish many of the same goals. Dan, why don't we do more of this?
Well, I think we're doing it. Look, the Iranians are pretty good with their proxy militants at moving from place to place. They construct these safe houses that they use for a mobile headquarters for some period of time, and then they'll move on from there. I think we're still waiting for the battle damage assessment for these latest strikes. But again, I think what the Biden administration does and what administrations have done before them is, frankly, not enough to deter Iran. I can remember when I was serving in Iraq over a decade ago, and we were subjected to daily strikes from Iranian proxy militias there, and we never did enough to stop them. The Iranians use these proxy militias, and it's a challenge for us to devote our intelligence resources to find and fix and then finish those locations.
Yeah, and there's also this Wall Street Journal op-ed titled "Biden Keeps the Billions Flowing to Iran," and it points out Iran exported nearly 1.4 million barrels of oil per day last month, which is up 80% from when Trump had the maximum pressure strategy on Iran. So they say that Iran has made an additional $32 to $35 billion since Joe Biden took office. So there are these military efforts, but they also say follow the money, and there's a lot of money still flowing to Iran because of this oil.
Right, and that's the larger strategic issue at play here. Iran is now a nuclear threshold state, and yeah, the oil is flowing, so that might keep oil prices down, and maybe the Biden administration wants that, but it adds money to Iran's coffers, and they're allowed to divert that money to support these proxy terrorists like Hezbollah and the Houthis, as well as their militants in Iraq and in Syria. And at this time in particular, that is causing us grave concern. And you're absolutely right to highlight that.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Iran. Iran's partner is Russia and China as well. And President Biden is going to be meeting with Xi Jinping later this week in San Francisco. So we're definitely going to be watching that and see what comes out of that meeting as well. Dan, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
we appreciate it.
All right.